So let's talk accounting. For now, I'm just going to define some basic terms, which obviously is what everything will be based on. So first, let's define what we mean by an asset. Now, easy way to think about an asset is anything you own, like my laptop, my house, my car. Anything you own is an asset. Now, where it gets complicated for people is when they see some unusual thing like a prepaid expense. They say, okay, that's not something I own. How is that an asset? But actually, it is something you own. When you pay for expense in advance, you're buying up a benefit that you can use in the future, like insurance. So yes, you do own it. That's why it's an asset, because I can use that benefit in the future. So that's the confusion that people have. So yes, the definition that anything you own is an asset is applicable. It is correct. Now, let's define liabilities. What is a liability? Liability is basically anything that you owe. And the key term there is anything. I didn't say any money. I said anything. So let me explain. Yes, of course, liability is when you owe some money to someone. Yes. But it can also be when you owe works to someone. Let's say customer has already paid you the money. Now you have to do the work for the customer for the next month because of that money. That's also a liability in accounting. So the definition for liability is anything that you owe. Done. The last term, equity. Now, when we're talking about equity, I encourage my students to not think of equity first in the meaning sense. Think of equity mathematically. Equity basically means assets minus liabilities. What does that mean? That means let's say I have $50,000 in my bank account. Now, out of that, let's say I owe 20,000 to someone else. So if I'm looking at the real value that I have as a person, it's 30,000, right? Because I own $50,000. I owe out of that 20,000 to someone else. That means really, for me, I really have a net worth of 30,000. That's a very good way to think about equity. It's like a net worth. It's not actually net worth, you'll see that, but that's the best way to think about it when you're starting out.